Hey there, what's up you guys? It's me, your boy JD, and welcome back to the channel. And for today's episode, what I do have for you guys is a quick performance review on the Drose 11. So alright, before we begin, I'd like to invite you guys to please do subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that you guys can stay updated for all these kinds of pasabay pages, budget shoe reviews, steal deals, all those kinds of content. So alright, so now that the Drose 11 is actually hitting the shelves, you know, the sales shelves, the outlet stores and everything, it's dropping in unreasonable prices. The question now is it worth buying? I mean, is it a good option to buy? Is there a better option for the price point that it is right now? Kasi nga, the price point is dropping to like this one. This is, I think, around 50% off. So, a big question dun, guys, is it worth it? So, that's what we're basically going to be tackling in this episode. So, of course, we're going to start off with the traction. So, as you guys can see on the clip, the traction pattern on these guys is actually that wave bone pattern, which is like a modified herringbone pattern, which it's got me covered in pretty much any direction that I wanted to go to. And in terms of durability, it's quite durable. Like what I mentioned in my previous videos, that when it came to translucent outsoles, my experience with Adidas was really good, and for this one as well, it was really good. So it's got the grip that I was looking for, especially that I was testing this out sa back doors, yung that dusty asphalt court, that's where I was testing it. Overall, the performance of the traction is good enough if you guys are looking for something that will grip on the outdoors. Now moving up to the cushion, they finally used Light Strike after removing Boost and then using Bounce for two shoes, and now they're using Light Strike and implementing it on this particular sneaker. All I can say is that it's a really good cushion setup. It was well balanced, a lot of court feel on the forefoot, and a lot of impact protection on the heel, which is something that I really appreciate. Although I gotta say though, there's a lot of creasing, and after my very first time using the sneaker, there was already a lot of creasing on the midsole. Although it wasn't that bad, it's just that you know that the cushion setup is working. But one thing to worry about when a shoe has a lot of creases, even though you haven't been wearing it a lot of times, it may or may not bottom out really fast, or in Filipino or in Tagalog, baka mabilis siyang masira, or yung foam mawalan siya ng density, hindi na siya masyado nag-absorb ng impact mo. So that's one thing that I'm worried about. But although, again, for its price point now, I don't think it's really bad. Now, moving up to the materials, this is something that I was wondering about. Like what I mentioned in my initial impressions, I was wondering if there was a main difference with the other colorways, particularly this one, because it does have that frosted snowflake design, which is very fusy. So my question was back then was, did it add some sort of extra stability factor right there with that? And we'll get into that later. But in terms of the materials, like what I mentioned, it worked perfectly well. It's flexible, it's breathable. The material seems to be very durable, considering that I was playing this on the outside and I was dragging it all over that asphalt. So it was really good. So the materials is something that's not too bad, but at the same time, it isn't the most premium materials that you guys can find. And also, you've got those neoprene materials on the tongue and of course on the heel area as well. So you have that. Now moving up to the fit. So this is where the problem lies. That's why this is going to be a very quick performance review, because I was only able to test the shoe out for quite a few games, and the reason for that was because I was very uncomfortable with the sneaker. So like what I mentioned in my initial impressions, it fit me perfectly well for some reason, but when I started playing in them, it was really loose. Especially here on the heel area, I couldn't feel the support of the heel counter. I didn't feel like I was locked in. Although here on the forefoot area, the width of my foot is very okay. Length is also okay. But when it came here, right, particularly here in the heel area, I wasn't secure, so I didn't like the feeling. Like every time I took a jump shot, you know, I felt like the shoe was wobbling. Since parang gumaganyan-ganyan lang siya. It was like shaking and everything. So I felt like the sneaker, matatagal yung sapatos ko after I take a jump shot or after I made the layup. That's how it felt. So I just didn't like the fit of the sneaker. So for my suggestion is, if you guys have the opportunity to go to the mall and practice the quarantine protocols and everything while you guys are there, if you guys can try it on in store, my suggestion is to do it. But if you guys are buying it online, my suggestion is you might want to go down full size. Like this was an 8.5. I think I should have went with a size 7.5. So that was pretty much the problem with this one, and I was just really disappointed, especially with that one, because again, like what I mentioned in the initial impressions, I was just really excited excited. I have my first Drose signature sneaker, and then the fit was just really disappointing for that one. So now for the support in the lockdown, like what I mentioned, because of how horrible the fit was, the support wasn't there and the lockdown wasn't there either. But although I can definitely say that the lockdown in terms of lateral containment and ankle stability is there as well, so it's pretty much good. Although there's very poor heel to toe transition because of how flat the shoe is, but again, that wide base was really supportive, and I really felt that when I was grabbing rebounds and landing on my foot. I really felt how wide the shoe is. Although again, like what I mentioned, because of how bad the fit was, the support in the lockdown wasn't really that good as well. Now moving on to the aesthetics, this is something that I do like. I like the way the shoe looks because, like what I mentioned, it does remind me a little bit of the Drose 2 and the Drose 2.5s, and just like reminded me of that, and it reminded me a little bit of the Adi Zero Crazy Light. That particular sneaker reminds me of that design element as well. And overall, the sneaker is something that aesthetically it looks really nice. So yeah, so overall, is the Drose 11 worth it now that it's going down at 50% off? And if you go to Marketplace or some Facebook groups, going down like 60 to 70% off. So the question is it worth it? So honestly speaking, if you have the right size, it probably is. Like what I mentioned, if this was like a 7.5 or like a US 8, it would have been a really good sneaker. I felt like it was gonna be something that was bang for your buck. You know, it had all the elements, the good grip, the durable traction, the really good cushion setup. The materials aren't that bad, not good as well. The breathability is there, the flexibility, it's there as well. So it's pretty much got everything that you'd want in a basketball sneaker. It's supportive, has a wide base and everything like that. But because of the fit, it was a disappointment for me. But like what I mentioned, it shouldn't be a disappointment for everyone. That's why we make these kinds of videos. You guys just need to try it on in store, or my suggestion is just go down half a size or go a full size down. Especially if you're like a narrow footer, you might want to go down full size for this particular sneaker. So anyways guys, that pretty much takes care of it for the Drose 11. I'll be leaving a link down in the description box if you guys are interested in copying a pair of this one on the Adidas app, and I'll try to find some links in the marketplace for you guys as well. So yeah, so if you guys like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's gonna help us a lot, and click the notification bell so that you guys can stay updated for all these kinds of uploads, budget deal uploads, budget sneaker performance reviews uploads, buy pages, steal deals, and all of that kinds of content. So anyways guys, this was your boy JD. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.